really, I think what we're holding is the mitzvah of learning Torah has two parts. I wouldn't say two parts. There are two dinim. It has two dinim based on psukim in the Torah. Really, the kashas that he asked from the Gemara of Tzitzis and from the Ran in Shavuos, the kashas force him to say that I cannot understand Talmud Torah simply according to the Gemara, that as the Gemara said, there's no minimum shiur. One word morning, one word night, the person did their mitzvah of learning Torah. It's not a demand like a fanatic learn Torah day long without breathing. You have a minimum, not even a minimum. One word, you're yotzi the mitzvah of Talmud Torah.
The Gra couldn't have said that.
Well, the Gra did say that.
So we're saying that.
But I have a kasha from the Gemara and from the Ran. I'm going to explain the Gra that he said that, but there's also more to the story, and the more to the story. So it starts from that there's two different laws that apply to understand the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. One is called Igisa Yom Balayla, learn Torah day and night. Day and night. Don't stop for a minute. Don't breathe. Don't do nothing. Learn Torah. Learn Torah day and night. That's one mitzvah. And the other mitzvah is when you lie down, when you get up. You say a word of Torah in the night, a word of Torah in the morning. That's the mitzvah of learning Torah. Now, not one is true or the other is true. I'm asking, Kira, is it this way, is it that way? I'm saying, no, both are true. They're both true at the same time. And if we put the two together, we'll come to an understanding of what is the mitzvah of learning Torah. So I'm going to read a little bit further at the end of paragraph Hey, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit on what we said in terms of quantity and quality about these two parts of the mitzvah. So we did
The nearer paragraph a lot.
Where did we did the nearer paragraph? We didn't read Nimsa. I thought we read.
No, we did.
And Hine at the top of the second column.
We went all
And
the
then
way
I have
to-
the Gra
to
is
the
quoted
Vara.
in Os Hey. He starts by quoting the entire Shnos Eliyahu. This whole paragraph is a quote of the Shnos Eliyahu. And then I have after that Levara Divrei HaGoyen. That's what I'd really like to start reading today.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I'm
I
going to
thought.
warn you in advance that I'm going to change some of the things I said about quantity and quality. I think the main thing I'm going to change is I'm not going to say there's one din of learning Torah, which is a din of quality, and another din of learning Torah, which is a din of quantity of learning Torah. I'm going to say really both of them have quality and quality in them. We're going to get involved in it. I'll read inside first, then I'll come back and see what my problems are.
Is that how the Birkas Shmueil sees it, or is that your seeing it? I mean,
No, I'm really telling you right now that the way I explained it to you, I don't think is true. I'm only trying to explain what he says. I'm not trying to add anything to what he says. I'm trying to explain what he says. So in my effort to explain what he says, so I gave some explanation. Now I'm retracting part of what I said. I don't mind. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. We'll see. We'll see right away. Levara Divrei HaGoyen. Well, Levara Divrei HaGoyen. I now want to explain a little more about the words of the Vilna Goyen in Shnos Eliyahu. Hine. Ha, B'Kosev, B'Gisa Bo Yomam V'Laylo. That one which was called Din Aleph of the Din of learning Torah.
I mean, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Ha, V'Hodekosiv Shach B'Chumecha, and the one which says one word.
Right.
Tarvayu Ahanilan. The Lo Yahave Kosuv אלא הגיסו בו, אז היינו אומרים בשני אופנים. If I had higisa, and I did not have in the morning and in the night, there's two possibilities how I'd learn. What does it mean, higisa?
I mean, you didn't have that pasuk? You only had a
Well, yeah.
Okay.
What's wrong with that? I can take a pasuk out of the Torah. I'm joking.
No,
What I
no,
mean
no.
is, in order to understand that there's two psukim in the Torah of Shinantem and Gisim and Shach B'chukumecha, it's right in the first paragraph of Shema Yisrael. It says those are two dinim of Talmud Torah. If I want to understand, define what are those two dinim, how do I do it? I say, let's go into our laboratory right over here, and we have our test tubes and little burners and gadgets ready. We're going to pour in the mixture into this test tube, heat it up to a certain temperature, add this little powder, and it's going to make the other one distillate out to the bottom. Then you're going to have only the one left that I want to examine purely by itself, and I'll see what I got. If I have two dinim, and they're all mixed up, how do I get to know clearly what is each one? So I got to kind of isolate each one by itself in my laboratory, as if that's the only one that exists. And what would the world look like?
Okay.
How would people still have two eyes? Would they just not have to eat anymore and they just learn Torah all day long? What would the world look like? Maybe I have one law and not the other. I'm trying to define what are these two laws. Very simple. Tarvayo ahanilan. I need both of them, of course. Because if I had only one, namely higisa, and I did not have the one of shach b'kumecha, then what would the world be like? As I know omrim b'shnei ofanim. There's two ways I could see things. I don't have one answer to that question. I have two answers. Oh, they call rega v'rega mechayavaso kidamrina b'gemora gabi tzitzis. One possibility is, I would say, learning Torah is the same as wearing tzitzis. That is to say, every moment that a person has tzitzis on, he gets a tremendous mitzvah. It's a mitzvah by itself. He's mekayim what the Torah commanded to wear tzitzis every single moment. A few different moments go by, an hour or two. He has jillions of mitzvahs because every single moment was another mitzvah, right? So I'll say the same thing about Talmud Torah. That on the positive side, that every single moment that goes by is another complete fulfillment of the Torah's positive commandment to learn Torah. Okay.
That's one.
Oh, Dainu Omrim. Du shir kamo kazayas the matzah. Or I'll say no. The Yom V'Layla is a shir. When you eat matzah, the matzah's coming up, mitzvah eating matzah. So the mitzvah of eating matzah, fortunately, is not to eat 10 kilos in one bite. It would take you all day and all night to eat 10 kilos of matzah, and besides, what would it do to your body? But the mitzvah of Yom V'Layla of Talmud Torah would be like a kazayas of matzah. That is to say, to if you don't eat a kazayas of matzah, you didn't do the mitzvah. If you don't learn Torah for 24 hours, you didn't do the mitzvah. That's all. That's the shir.
Oh, the shir is all the time.
Yeah. Not every minute. And now both of those things are possible if I learn the pasuk of Yom V'Layla, and I did not learn the pasuk of Shach B'Kumecha.
You think all the time. The shir
Okay,
all the
two
time.
possibilities. We're logicians here, We're in the laboratory isolating the mitzvah to see clearly what it is. Yeah, one ask.
Shir.
דובק ונפרד?
What?
Constant shir.
נפרד ודובק?
Shir is-
No, I'm going to change some of the stuff I told you about Kamas and Echos. And no, Nifrad and Dovek, yeah, that could be true here. When I say, is it like tzitzis? My conclusion about tzitzis was that tzitzis is a kamas nifrad. Each single one is another mitzvah bifnei atzmi. That's side aleph, and side beis is Talmud Torah is not like that. In other words, like you say, kamas dove. You could say that. But we'll see. Things are going to change in a moment, because l'maisa we don't have one mitzvah without the other. We have two together.
Ah, right.
So this is all in theory.
But even in
It would be
theory,
a shear like a kazayas.
you can't have it though.
What?
Manny said you can't have it really, even in theory.
Why?
Because you have to sleep. That's what you just told me.
Who says you have to sleep?
We have a lot of data on this.
What?
Everybody sleeps. Everybody has to sleep.
Yeah, but I have a lumdish answer to sleeping. There's a pasuk in the Torah that says onus rachmana patre. So
Sorry,
I'm not gonna. What it means? It means when a person is honest, they can't help themselves.
Not
They're
their
potter.
fault.
They're
not their
potter.
fault.
I have this person who has a mitzvah to eat a kazayas of matzah, but lo aleinu, he's hooked up to these tubes and machines. He's barely alive, although he's Jewish and he is alive and he is commanded to do mitzvahs. But the doctor's orders, he can't move the pipes and he cannot put a kazayas of matzah in. Finished. Is he guilty of an avera of not eating matzah? No.
No, but
We
where
call
is-
that ones rachmana patre. The onus, the fact that he's impossible for him to do it, he's not obligated.
But it's impossible in that case. But this, always learning Torah, is impossible in all
No.
cases. It's
No,
never.
there's
No,
no.
onus rachmana patre.
As long
Watch
as
what
you're
he's gonna
awake,
say.
it's possible.
Watch what he's
If you
gonna say.
collapse, then I won't hold you liable for that. But when you wake up, you're going to have to learn Torah day and night
So
again.
then, but that's different than 24 hours a day. That's as long as you're awake.
No. It's the mitzvah is 24 hours a day. And there will be days when, there are people who get excited and they stay up for 24 hours. Their best friend comes from to visit them and they get all excited. They stay up all night talking, and they got to go to work the next day, and they're not going to go to sleep when the morning comes. So they're so happy, and then they do whatever they have to do. And Lamaisa, they didn't sleep for 24 hours. I'm sure it's happened to you. A lot of people have had that mikveh happen to them that they didn't sleep, right?
But not regularly.
I don't care about regularly. When it happens that a person occasionally sleeps, there's no commandment on him to learn Torah day and night.
How many hours did the grass grow? I heard
Very few.
very few.
And Yaakov Avinu was Mekayim Lo Malaylo. I think he went to the yeshiva of Shem Ve'ever, and he learned for 14 years.
Right, without sleeping.
he
Without putting
didn't
his
sleep.
head down.
What?
Without putting his head down.
He didn't sleep.
He didn't sleep.
He finally got to sleep on his way to Lavan. He got tired on the derech. The wear and tear of traveling finally got him to sleep a little bit. When he was learning, he didn't sleep.
It's a
So
person.
I'm not talking about you don't quite get the lumdus. Ones, you're potter. That's not a dechia. It's a reality. Not practically speaking. People do sleep. It doesn't affect me. I'm talking about people who don't sleep. And when a person sleeps, I'm not talking about him. He's an onus. He can't help himself.
How's it honest if he has to sleep? That's the reality of a person. That's the way Hashem made him. It's like
Well, I define the sleeping halachically as in terms of his obligation to learn Torah day and night.
Collapse. He has to collapse.
So he doesn't have to collapse.
But
If
he
he does,
does.
he's an onus.
Right.
That's all.
That's sleep.
If he does collapse, he's an onus.
That's when he can
He can't help himself. But aside from that, he has to learn Torah around the clock. What's wrong with
you don't
that?
take
have
you,
to do that.
What's wrong with that?
How's
You
it-
can you ever not? The Rebbe used to tell us outside. The Rebbe used to have in the yeshiva a wonderful institution called Mishmar night.
Yom Chavish.
But the thing was that we didn't not learn on Friday. We learned on Friday. So you learn 24 hours from from Thursday morning till Friday morning. And then you learn also Friday morning. When are you going to sleep?
Shabbos.
Shabbos. And not too much. You got to daven. You can't have not a normal Shabbos. And the Rebbe used to explain himself. Why did he demand that from his students? He said, look, scientifically the body can give up sleep for 24 hours once a week. So the other times, if you're strong enough to do it, so do a mishmar every night. But if you're not strong enough, so you're onas. You can't help yourself. There's nothing wrong with saying that the shear of eating Torah is 24 hours a day, just like the shear of eating matzah is a kazayas.
I like that.
Okay.
What about the fact that when a person sleeps, it's like learning Torah if he's doing it for the right purposes? If he has
It's not like learning Torah. I'm sorry, we don't. It's Kabbalistic or something. You can dream. You can dream all you want. I love to dream about learning Torah. It's a very, very helpful dreams.
The actual sleep. I mean, he's going to sleep in order that he has.
Come on, I don't need all that stuff.
Not only that.
You're supposed to learn Torah, and you're not supposed to sleep or eat or breathe or anything. And if you have to, you're an onus. I'm not going to hold you responsible for something you can't help doing.
Not only that, but when you sleep, you digest what you were eating all day.
Okay, I know these are all wonderful physical advantages of how the body is built. But we're not talking in simple facts. We're talking about a artificial laboratory reality. If I would isolate and define the mitzvah of Higisa Yoma Balaylo,
Right.
these are two options of how to define
Right.
it. Okay,
That
now
was
let's go.
That was only Hagis. Only learning
Right.
that. Without the other part.
And or it's a shear.
Or-
It's a shear like matzah of a kazayas. Hachinami have a shear. So day and night is the amount called. If you do the shear, then you did the mitzvah. If you don't do the shear, you didn't do the mitzvah. Now we have the second pasuk mecha also.
Right.
And you have also the first pasuk of Yom Malayla. And you also have Shinanta. Yedinan. When we see it all in combination, Yedinan, the lochi chad teva, gam kain have a kiyum chefza of Talmud Torah. Now, the combination of putting the two together means that one single word of learning in the daylight hours and one single word in the nighttime hours is mekayim, is a chefza kiyum. You did the mitzvah of learning Torah. Gam al kol hayom. V'chad teva al kol halayla. I don't need all day and all night. And I don't need even the first possibility that all day and all night means every single moment is a mitzvah b'ifnei atzmo. No, I have one moment is a mitzvah, and I did it already, finished.
These are the two extremes, basically.
You got to shake the lulav the whole sukkah. You can't stop and have a meal and sing some songs and go to Simchas Beishueva and sing and dance. You have to shake the lulav the whole time. No,
But you have
you
to be in
shake the
sukkah
lulav
whole
and
time.
gamarnu. Now you did it.
You have to be in the sukkah the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't talk about that. That's why I used the example I did. Okay. The lo dami letzitzis. When I had the chakira, is it like tzitzis or not, when I was dealing only with one pasuk. But when I have the two psukim together, I definitely conclude, as we said before, it's not like tzitzis. Those orego hakodemes eino kiyum al rega shniya. The awesome kol rega have chiyum b'fnei atzmo, b'kiyum b'fnei atzmo. Aval hocha, the chad chiyuvu, b'shas kimo, chal alav chiyuv Talmud Torah, shel kol hayom. V'gam shir kamo kazayis, the matzah. Adarab. V'kol teva have chefza shel kiyuv. Elo deinu niptar. When I put the two psukim together, so I do say that one word is a mitzvah shlema by itself, but I don't say you're potter because there's two dinim. And the other din of day and night, you're not potter after you finish that one word. So what happens exactly? What happens then? What happens the next minute? Nimshachol, the chiyuv is still going along. It's al kain kishe mafsik the mitzvah davar acher. If he does stop learning, he has to. He has a mitzvah no one else can do. He has to make a living, right? So he has to stop and do those things. So he stops. When he's mafsik, then what happens? He's yotzi the chiyuv. Azu yotzi achiyuv digison aydei mashalomad tevoachas. Mevuar. Okay, now that I have to explain something. Wait, what happened there? How can you have your yotzi the mitzvah of learning day and night with one word? How'd that happen?
You learned.
I know, but how do you call that day and night? Call that learning one word. How do you call that day and night?
It was in the day and it was in the night.
One in the day and one in the night. But how do you call it learning? I understand if I just, he did it backwards. He only told us what would be if I had the pasuk of Higisa Bo Yomam V'Layla and I did not have the pasuk of Shach B'Chuk Mecha. He didn't tell me what would happen if I had the pasuk of Shach B'Chuk Mecha and I did not have the pasuk of Yomam V'Layla. Right? He didn't do that one. That was really his kasha at the very beginning when he asked his kashas on the Grua. Is simply, I understand from the Grua that there's no minimum, and you're yotzi with one word in the day and one word in the night, and then he was machadish. No, there's two dinim. So now when I have the two dinim together, so what does he mean when he says that you're yotze with one single word? The mitzvah of day and night. Why did he say the mitzvah of day and night? He should have said you're yotzi the mitzvah of morning and night, of morning and night. But all day long and all night long. How come you're yotzi with one word?
Depends what you mean by day and night. Do you mean all day long or do you mean day and night? Like two different.
Well, I have two psukim. They're not ambiguous what they mean. Shapaku Mecha means one moment in the morning and one moment in the night, without a minimum shir. Yom V'Layla means 24 hours, including 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of dark. So why does he say, Yotze, the all day long and all night long with one word in the morning, one word in the night? I think the answer is because we're talking about a person who had to stop. If a person has to stop, then he's yotzi all day long and all night long with one word. Muvur b'divrei HaGoyim v'im lo lomad klal ein heter gam ha'yedei asiyas mitzvah el ha'yedei chiyuv Talmud Torah ein lo shiurim v'nimtza dekol echad miYisrael mekayim mitzvahs Talmud Torah. Okay, this I need to work on a little stronger. He says like this. This really answers a question that we had last week. Yeah, you asked me, other people asked me. Well, what's the difference really between dechia and saying you're yotzi already? Now I have a practical nafkamina. I'll go back to the svara that he's rejected the whole time, that a mitzvah that you must do, like you got to make a living, you got to do something nobody else can do for you. You came across a dead body needs to be buried. You have to stop doing everything and bury it. A mitzvah yev sharei acher. A big mitzvah. You have to do that mitzvah. You can't say I'm busy doing some other mitzvah. You got to do this mitzvah. So now, when I say the word dechia about learning Torah, that if you have these things you must do, then you don't have a isur b'dul Torah, because doche, right? So what if you have a person that he's something of an istinus, and it takes him 15 hours to eat and sleep, and really doesn't have time to daven most days, so he does the best he can, and he has a 9-hour job. That adds up to 24 hours, right? So between the sleeping that he has to do and the eating he has to do and the working he has to do, so he just doesn't learn. There's people like that. I know lots of people. They get up in the morning, they go to work, they come home and go to bed, and they watch the TV and they do whatever they do, and they don't learn a word, right? So I'll admit that some of those people could suffer from boredom, and they come home and they're kind of tired of everything they're doing. They're looking for something more interesting. So they say, learn Torah, right? But suppose you would have a person who doesn't get bored, and we're making the picture that he occupies himself with, very careful cheshbon of his time and what is his spiritual responsibilities, and he lemaisa 24 hours a day he's doing mitzvahs that he must do. Not possible.
Sure.
So now, such a person like that, if you say dechia, that means that he has dechia is pushed off. That means to say there's no isur on this particular person called bidul Torah, because his obligations to do these doing, there's no bidul Torah there, right?
Yeah, but he didn't mekayim Talmud Torah, not even 1 minute.
Well, he didn't have to. It's
It was-
doche.
it was
Doche. You'll see
all day.
You'll see. It's
Maybe-
doche. It's doche.
It was
So,
doche.
but if I don't say this is a nafkamina,
Uh-huh.
if I don't say that all these mitzvahs that are very important he must do are doche Talmud Torah, the Birkas Shmueil is very emphatic. No, it's not doche. Forget about doche. It doesn't exist. I'll prove to you that's all not true. Doche is not true. The reason why you have a heter to stop and do any of these things you do is simply for one reason only. You were Yotzi already. If you were Yotzi already, then nobody's going to complain when you stop. What?
Oh, no.
So now, this person, he wasn't Yotzi already.
Yeah, he didn't.
And therefore, with all the important things he has to do, it's not doich, and he has no right to stop. He has no right not to learn. We say, excuse me, did somebody ever tell you because you're so busy with these mitzvahs that nobody else can do, that therefore you don't have to learn? Maybe somebody had a havamina like that, but it's definitely not true. The halacha of the Torah is that you have a right to go work because you did already the mitzvah of learning Torah. You got up in the morning, and you went to learn. Now, I'll now put the two psukim together. So, not just one word. The truth is, he, for some reason, woke up when he has more than 5 minutes to dress and daven and get to work, and so it ended up that he has some time on his hands. So the rubber band starts to stretch, and we say, well, every minute and minute is a mitzvah of learning Torah, and it's a kamas dovek, that is to say, the one mitzvah of learning Torah in the morning hours that you mekayem when you get up and learn Torah, and then I'm not worried about the fact you're going to have to stop. So you'll have to stop. Right now you have to stop? No, you still have another hour. So what are you thinking of, checking your emails for? You got to learn Torah. You have some time before you got to go to work. So learn Torah. So the 1 minute, I agree, there's no minimum shiur. 1 moment, 1 word, you could say, if you do have to stop, you say, I'm Yotzi Machiev already. I did what I have to do. But let's say you don't have a reason to stop. It could happen, right? There's no push on you. Did you have to stop learning Torah and do something else? There's no push on you. So what's your problem? Then I take out my rubber band. You see this 1 moment of learning Torah, and it's kind of stretched out. In fact, you might get halfway through the morning Seder before you got to get up. And a long time before that, you'll have ants in your pants. So I say, Bittul Torah, how can you get up? You don't have a reason to get up. If you had a reason to get up, so get up. Stop, mafsi. And then you were Yotzi your chiyuv from whatever you did till then, all 1 unit, kamas, davek, and you Yotzi your chiyuv, and then you can stop, right? So if I put the 2 things together, so it comes out like that the 1 moment, not just 1 moment, it's 1 moment that can stretch out. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, half an hour, 2 hours, and until you have to stop. So you have to always be aware that when you have to stop, you don't need to push away the Isur Bittul Torah. No one can make you feel guilty. How come you're stopping to learn Torah? Bittul Torah, I don't need to push away the Isur Bittul Torah, and you're not going to accuse me of Bittul Torah. I did my mitzvah of learning Torah. Well, how come you're such a fanatic that you learned through most of the morning Seder? You could have been Yotzi with 1 word. So the answer is no. You can be Yotzi with 1 word if you had to stop after that 1 word. But if you didn't, so keep going. Now I'll get back to the 24 hours. And what happens if it's voting day today, and so therefore there's all the workplaces are closed, not allowed to work. They'll give you a kanas if you keep your workers at the job, And so a situation like that, where all of a sudden nobody has an excuse that they got to go to work. So then the base midrash should be packed. How come maybe raised at the beach? The base midrash should be packed. You have no excuse why you're leaving, so don't leave. Don't leave.
You have to vote.
How long does it take you?
Depends.
Okay, so you'll go there, you'll wait in line.
How long did it take us when we went way up north?
Okay, but you finish the job and you're done now. Go learn. I have two questions. One is that definitely the nafka mina. Why did he work so hard not to say dechia? If you say dechia, then you'll say that when I have a mitzvah I have to do, I don't have any problem with bittul Torah. So, but if I don't say dechia, then you do, because you only have a right to stop because you're a yotzi yechiyuv. And nobody says that you're not yotzi yechiyuv matzah to eat 10 kilos. 1 kazayas. So the shiur of Talmud Torah is not just 1 moment, which would be according to 1 pasuk. It's 1 moment with a rubber band that can be bigger, bigger, and bigger, and bigger until you have to stop. But for all that time, you have a mitzvah of learning Torah, and that mitzvah of learning Torah, you're right. Then if you're yotzi, then you have a right to stop. It stretches until you have a necessity to stop. And then you have to stop. And there's not a dechiyah. You have a right to stop based on the fact that you're yotzi yechiyuv already. That's the chiddush here. And that definitely explains why he worked for, it was the whole page, 2 pages, to tell us that nobody should think that a mitzvah that you have to do and no one else can do, and nobody said don't make a living, that those things you must do. No, don't say. One thing you can rest assured that Birkas Shmueil worked hard to explain this to you. If anybody tells you that making a living pushes away the Isur of Bittul Torah, you have to correct them. Say, no, that's not true. It doesn't push it away. It's because you're Yotzi already. Therefore, it's not shaykh to have Bittul Torah. And therefore, you stop and you go do what you have to do. That's his conclusion right here before the end of Hay. Now he says,
Before b'divrei HaGaon,
first word in the line, Yossi. What?
I think that's where you're ending.
First word in the line. Just help me find the place.
Lo lamad. First word in the line.
Oh, good.
Last word. Im lo lamad klal.
Ayidei asiyas mitzvah, el ayidei dechiyat Talmud Torah, ve'ein lo shiurim. V'nimsa de kol echad, okay, nimsa, by nimsa. Nimsa de kol echad b'Yisrael. There is not a Jewish person.
Yeah.
Every single Jewish person is mekayem the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. What's that? Shmuchayiv lafsik al pi din Torah. Yotzein ayidei teva achas. So I'm not talking about that guy, by the way, who I tried to paint you his picture that he sleeps and takes a shower and eats his breakfast and 15 hours, and he goes to work for 9 hours. He usually doesn't have time to daven. I'm not talking about him. Not a normal Jew. A regular Jewish person, he gets up sometime in the morning and runs out to daven. At least he says Shema. You know how much time for Shema Esrei he has, but at least he said Shema Yisrael with Kavana, Kabbalah Salmalchus Shamayim, morning and night. So, and then he goes to work. He is he called a person who doesn't learn Torah?
No.
Oh. What, to Mekayim, to have the mitzvah of learning Torah, you got to sit in a yeshiva? No. Every Jewish person, and when you say Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, you know, it means to say it's a very important mitzvah. Every Jewish person is Mekayim that mitzvah. Now there is going to be a problem. We'll see right away.
Wait, you're saying he was Mekayim with Kriyat Shema?
Yeah, of course. He got up, he davened, he said one word. What? And in Baruch Hashem, the most important mitzvah there is, he did it.
So that was
V'zeh she'ein lo lafsi, mechuyev lekayim limud kol hayom. Now, but that person, here comes the twist.
Yeah.
What about a person who doesn't have to stop? Then don't stop. It's not like you're Yotzi with that one word, and then you can stop. Oh, Baruch shepatrani me'onshu shelazai. I did my one word. Now I'm out of here. No, if you don't have to stop, so what's pushing you? Got ants in your pants. Don't stop. So on the one hand, I say every Jewish person is Mekayim the mitzvah of learning Torah. On the other hand, I turn around to that very same Jewish person. I say, but you know, if you didn't have to stop, so why'd you stop? Keep on learning Torah. It's the most wonderful thing there is. Nothing better than learning Torah. So keep on going. What? Yeah. All day, all night. But I'm sleepy. Rabbi, come on. Learn. Wake up. Drink a coffee. Take coffee.
Right.
V'chein afilu l'shitas haran. Now, what about according to the Shita of the Ran? He's going to bring it later on. Not with the Ran we saw before and the kasha from the Dorim. A Ran coming up. We didn't get to it yet.
Okay.
V'mokom shemafsik afilu l'didei כגון למצווה שאי-אפשר לקיים על ידי אחרים. He must stop, must do it. There's a dead body, he must bury it. ממילא, אפילו במקום שעושה להפסיק, לא מקרה זה עובר בעשה שלמה. Even if, let me get that straight. He's not over the mitzvah aseh of Shabbat Chukumecha.
Right.
He's over Yom V'Layla in the shiurim. Elisha over be'isur bittul Torah. Now, if a person really did not have to stop, and he did stop, what happens?
Oh my gosh.
He has bittul Torah, but not bittul of removing the mitzvah aseh. So now
he has bittul Torah, but he has a mitzvah. He has the mitzvah of Learn Torah.
No, so he didn't get rid of the mitzvah aseh. No. You're right. Every Jewish person is mekayim a mitzvah aseh because they have one word in the morning, one word in the night.
Right.
Now, if they have to stop, so they stop. What if they didn't continue and they didn't have to stop? They should keep on going.
Right. What
happens if they didn't? Bittul Torah, but that bittul Torah is not a bittul of a mitzvah aseh. It's bittul Torah. There's a different level here of bittul Torah. Now, what is that? ועל כן חל על זה שבוע. If a person made a shvua to learn Torah, and it's exactly like a chetzi shir, a chetzi zayas of an isur. Now, I gotta get, what did he gain? What happened here? It really is a kasha and teres. I don't know if we got it so clear the first time around. The kasha was from the Ran in the Dorim that if a person made a shavua to learn a parak of Gemara, so the Gemara says it's a good shavua. The kasha of the Gemara is that you can't say a shvua on something you already have a shavua, and we have a shvua from Har Sinai to do the mitzvahs of the Torah. So a shavua to do a mitzvah like learning Torah is not a shavua. So how come the Gemara says it is a shavua? So originally the kasha was back to my problem of Darchei or your Yotzi already. If I said Darchei, then it would work. But to say that you did the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, so then how do you have a shavua? So now I have a way with the how to have a shavua to learn Torah, to learn a parak of Gemara, a parak of Mishnah. So how do you have such a shavua like that when you're obligated to learn Torah day and night? So the answer is that he's making a shavua with the two different laws of Talmud Torah that there are. So he's making a shavua not to have the bittul Torah of stopping when I didn't necessarily have to stop. So now, what is his shavua? That if I stopped, I would have bittul Torah, but I wouldn't have a bittul of the mitzvahs aseh. So the commandment of the Torah to learn Torah is a mitzvahs aseh. And a person who is mekayim that mitzvahs aseh, so he did what they had a shavua from Har Sinai to do. But if there's a gray area after that, where a person could have bittul Torah without being mevatel the aseh, really, so then he can have a shavua on that. And that's exactly like the Ran explained, a shavua of chetzi shir. If the Torah says, don't eat treif, now a person's not obligated on any of the isurei achila except the kazayas. Has to have a shir. So if he makes a shavua not to eat a chetzi shir of something not allowed to eat, It's not called that he's making a shvu on something that he already had an obligation from Har Sinai not to do. It's a valid shvu. He made a shvu on the Chetzi Shir. So we now found a Chetzi Shir in Talmud Torah, which is where he was Yotzi as Chiyuv, and he didn't exactly have a right to stop, but he did stop. So he has Bidul Torah. So he wants to mizares himself and encourage himself with, it's called a Nidres Rizim, to make a shavua to do something that really he should be doing, and we don't say that shavua is nishba b'omed and therefore he has no shavua. We say no, it's a valid shavua, because it goes like a chetzi shir. He's making a shavua not to have Bidul Torah of, he could have been learning more hours than he did, Yom V'Layla, but the reason really why he's continuing to finish this extra parak is because he made a shavua to learn that parak, and that's a valid shavua, not to have that Bidul Torah of not learning that parak, but a shavua to do what he was commanded in the Torah to do. Of course, that's not a valid shavua. So now, I'll just read the next paragraph, and then I'm going to come back to what I said at the beginning of the shir about kamas and echos, how to put it all together. To call ish the ish miswa, every Jewish man, mekayem mitzvahs Talmud Torah lefi cheshbon ha'echrach shalav lasos mitzvos lechol derech eretz. Derech eretz usually means make a living. Hare da'chiyuv shel kol echon kol Yisrael v'Yisrael lilmod kol haTorah kula. That comes from the pasuk of Shach v'chu mechol u'mikra shinanta b'giso. He really has an obligation to learn the whole Torah. And that obligation doesn't mean don't stop, but he has that obligation. Everyone is according to his situation. He's mekayem that mitzvah, according to both chiyuvim of morning and night, and shinantam, all day and all night, and to learn the whole Torah kula, according to his matzah. V'zeu bir masnisin Talmud Torah and lo shir. And that's what the Grove really referred to. All this whole discussion till now with the two dinim is all the pshat in the Grove. That's all the pshat in the Grove. I want to come back to kamas and echos a little bit, just to clarify that I don't think that they'll say the Talmud Torah is only a kamus, even a kamus dovek. That's all one unit of a mitzvah from when you, that not only the first moment, the second, third, fourth, until you have to stop. All one unit called a mitzvah of learning, but this kamus. What about echos? So in I really need kamus and echos in the picture to explain what does it mean everyone according to his matzav has to learn the whole Torah kula. Because he said before, the Birkas Shmueil wrote before, that a person, there's some people that in an hour they can learn a whole Masechet. They go through it. They learn it well, not learn it like a speed tape recorder. I'm talking about someone who learns and thinks thinks about it. They know it. We personally know people that are basically chazer, go over all the shas once a month.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who learn it. Not they read it like a fast forward tape recorder.
Yeah.
People learn it. So Not everybody can do that. Some people, they can't chazer all of Shas in a month. Takes them longer. Maybe they can do it quicker than 7 years, but it takes them time. And there's some people who can learn one amud of the Gemara well in an hour, in a week, in a month. But whatever it is, those are echus, quality differences. Now, the Rebbe used to tell us, Zatzal, that what if a person could learn Iyah? And they say, but I think I gotta also learn Bekias, So we say, Bittul Torah. Bittul Torah. You're not learning according to your matzav of who you are, what you are. You're selling yourself short. Bittul Torah. So there's kamus and echos. That even if a person is allowed to stop, but there's a question on how he uses his time in learning. Do everything you can do. Learn I'm not saying don't stop, but learn the amount of time that you can, and don't make a cheshbon that really have a right to stop when you don't. Just because I'm tired of learning, so I got to stop, But no, there's a time when you have to stop. So when you have to stop, you stop. So before that, you have a kamus of you learned, but there's also an echos, and really all that whole pilpul about shavua really has to do with echos, because if a person did not learn according to what his ability is, then he has bittul Torah. Okay, he could mizarez himself with a shvua and do more, but lemaisa is bittul Torah. So I have in this picture, I have a shear of the Groa of one moment of learning in the morning, one moment in the night is a mitzvah shlema, mekayma mitzvah aseh. It's a rubber band. It can get bigger to 2 moments, 5 moments, an hour, half an hour, 3 hours. It can get bigger. And that amount of time, so a person, until he has to stop, so why are you stopping? That's all in kamos. There's also in echos, which is, and let's say that period of time, whatever Hashem gave you according to your matzav, whatever Hashem gave you to learn, you're zocheh to be in a yeshiva, and they'll give you lunch. You don't have to and you wiggled out of tuition, and therefore you can sit and learn. So good. So sit and learn. What's stopping you? What's that? You don't have patience for it. You don't have sitzfleisch. You can't. You got to get up and run. I got to run around. I got to do something with my life. Well, you could be honest, and you can't help it, but don't fool yourself about what the mitzvah is. The mitzvah is sit down and learn, and not only that, learn that what is your ability? How much you're a clever guy, You're a clever guy. You can learn a lot. So learn a lot. Learn a lot. Push yourself. There's a big Torah. Shinantam. Shinantam means you have to know the whole Torah. That means that most people are failures and drop out? No, the Birkas Shmueil is very positive. He says, no, every Jewish person is mekayim the mitzvah Talmud Torah. But that doesn't mean that they're doing the echus according to who they are and what their ability is. So do it. Push, do it. Got to go to sleep? I don't know. There's some times when you don't have to go to sleep. So stay up and learn. What are you wasting your time? So the mitzvah be a little bigger, a little smaller, depending on what you have to do. Nobody's running your life. Every Jew is mekayim the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, but every Jew has a very big obligation to learn Torah. Very big obligation. You have to know the whole Torah. Don't sell yourself short on your abilities to learn the Torah. So at this point, I asked myself really David's kasha about what happened to those people in Germany, The original shaila we asked was a rabbi from Ashkenaz sent a Baruch Ber a letter. He said, in my community, I have some Haredi Jews, basically the children and grandchildren of those fighters in the War of Amalek from the teachings of HaGaon Rabbi Shimshon Hirsch, who taught them Torah Avoda and to learn and be cultured and all these things. And there's people that were successful. They're medactic on mitzvahs. They're charedim, and that's what they were taught. That's what they do, and they were successful. And I don't say that the Haskalah and the Reform didn't wipe out Germany. We know after the fact he was before the war, so we know after that it did. It wiped them out. They don't exist. But at that time, these were the fighters who succeeded. They succeeded to fight off the Haskalah. Instead of being called names, the stupid Jews who are backwards, you live in the dark ages with your Gemaras. They were cultured and refined and educated and sharp, and they were Mekayim all the mitzvahs, Tremendous people. So he also had some people in his community that they wanted to send their kids to Cheder and just learn there wasn't the same pressure of the Haskalah right before the war. That was history. That was that war was really earlier, and so some people wanted to send their kids to learn like in regular yeshivas, and some people wanted to continue the derech of gymnasium, which means secular learning and Torah vavoda, work and learn, and they were successful. So they asked, what should we do? So now I get to the end of the story with the Grua, and how did the Birkas Shmueil answer? I mean, he said that really, he said the opening line to answer his question was that the teachings of Rav HaGoyen HaTzadik Rav Shimshon Hirsch was the Horat Shah. He said what he said, not because that's the halacha of how to learn. No, you have to learn day and night. But he said it because it was needed to fight against the war of Amalek, of the Haskalah. You have no idea how harif that war was in Germany. But you're not in that situation anymore. It's a Horat Shah, it doesn't apply. But now I'm asking according to the Maskon, and then the Birkas Shmueil said, well, that was a Horat Shah, I'm going to tell you the halacha. Now I got to the halacha. So the halacha is that the shiur of how much Torah you learn, it starts from one word, gets a little bigger depending on what you have to do. So now what's wrong with their derech of go to learn, go to work, keep all the mitzvahs, be an educated person? What's wrong with it? According to the halacha, his purpose was, I'm going to show you that the halacha is not like that. I didn't see it yet. Where's the halacha not like that? What's wrong with that? They got to go to work. They got to do this. They got to do that. So what's wrong with it? Is he answering when he finally is mevarer the halacha that every Jewish person is mekayim the mitzvah of Talmud Torah with them, at least according to the minimum? So did it come out that really he's not really answering which side to go on? He's saying everybody according to their matzav. Is that what he means? That's my question at the end of this paragraph. I'm really asking this question because I think that that the answer to the one who sent in the letter, I need the next part in Vav and then Zayin and Ches. I need another page or so to work through, and I have a new aspect of what is the halacha of the mitzvah to learn Torah, something we haven't talked about yet. And really, the way I see it is we have not yet really given a complete answer to the question. Because the answer to the question really should be, this is what you should do, and not that way. That was a horat shah. Don't do that anymore. But we didn't really hear that from his discussion of the halacha. Adarab. We heard that in theory, everybody has to know the whole Torah Kula, and in reality, but each one according to his matzav and who he is, what is his ability. A person who can learn 10 daf an hour, so one daf is Bidul Torah. But a person can learn half a daf, so that's not Bidul Torah. That's Adarab. He's doing the biggest mitzvah there is, to sit down and apply himself and think. How much Gemara do you learn in the time you have? So somebody once asked Rabbi Pinchas Scheinberg Zatzal, and he gave a simple answer: don't cheat. Don't cheat. What he means is, you're learning the Gemara, so you can do an amud in an hour, you can do an amud in a day. I'm talking about reading it and understanding it. It says, according to the Birkas Shmueil said, according to the koach hadibur of the person, what's his ability to think and understand? So, not against anybody, but don't cheat. Learn it according to your abilities, and don't skip over and say, okay, more or less I got it, let's go weiter. I got to finish the daf, So, no. Learn it and understand it. Now, there's some people, they can learn it and understand it much quicker, so what? It doesn't make them better than you or worse. Everybody's whoever they are. The mitzvah of learning is to put in your time and learn the whole Torah Kula, and learn according to your ability. That's why I quote Rabbi Scheinberg Zatzal. He said, and don't cheat. Don't like set yourself to go quick, and you got to go through, and then you read it, and now did you get it? Well, kind of, almost. I almost got it. So then read it again. What are you going to the next section of the Gemara? Don't cheat.
Is that Rebbe's? If I'm not mistaken, Rebbe's derech is like, don't take on amount, just take on. You're going to sit and learn, and whatever you learn in that amount of time.
He always said that, and I give a Bekiyas shir, but the Rebbe never ever gave a shir in Bekiyas. Only a shir in
Put it in your pocket.
Of course he did Daf Yomi. And you know what his Rosh Shiva said about Daf Yomi? This is Rav Chanach Zatzal.
Yeah.
Rav Chanach said, well, I don't think it's worse than playing poker. It keeps you occupied, but it doesn't exactly Mekayim the mitzvahs aseh of Talmud Torah. Maybe there's some level of Bidul Torah.
David. Come on,
No.
Rabbi Sackton.
No, you didn't get my words.
Maybe I didn't.
There's a mitzvahs aseh, and when you don't do it, you have a bittul mitzvahs aseh.
Good.
There's another thing called Bidul Torah. Did you learn according to your ability and what can be done to learn properly? If you do less,
Good.
you play poker.
Right.
So that's exactly how I understood Rav Chanach.
I can't.
If you play poker, you'll be Yotzi the mitzvah of aseh of learning Torah. Of course, that's called learning Torah. It's a wonderful mitzvah of learning Torah. But on the other hand, it's also Bidul Torah, because you could do more. Could do more.
What about the fact
I
that a
don't
person
believe
has to
you
go
said
through all areas of the Torah? Everything has its
So
time.
do it.
I believe it.
Does that mean you should cheat? And make sure you finish the daf even though you didn't really get
You're
it?
not getting anything, but you're not completing what
No.
your diet for. You're not saying-
No.
So,
No.
What?
Why not?
And if you learn,
Two sides.
I'm an A. If a person
Quantity and quality. Again.
learns
Capacity is
to their ability and they learn an amud in a day, so they're wasting their time on daf yomi. They can't. They're inevitably gonna read stuff they don't understand.
not
but
getting anything.
but if they do that amud, then after a while they'll be doing a daf. Things change. People don't stay the same all their life. You can develop and
Put it
grow
in
and
your
get
pocket.
better. And then you can go from 1 to 2 to 3, and you can do daf yomi plus 2 chazoros of the daf yomi. No problem. But you don't get to the kol Torah kula by not learning according to your ability. This is basically what I'm saying. You get me wrong, I don't have anything
No,
about
I
the
didn't get you.
daf
I
yomi.
understand.
I just say,
he actually
don't.
said like the poker. He said those words.
Rav Chenuch said, and I quote word for word, that
Who'd you hear it from?
from the Rebbe.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it from Rav Chenuch. I heard
Okay,
it from the
okay,
Rebbe.
okay.
He said that I don't think it's worse than playing poker. Let's talk
In
about
context.
a gray area where a person obviously doesn't have a mitzvah yifshead acher to play poker. On the other hand, he's not in the base midrash and he's up there in the dorm playing cards. So we'll give him kafschus that he needs to relax and take it easy, and that get his energy back to come back to the seder in the evening. So learning daf yomi is not worse than that.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Someone who
The-
reads 3 seforim a day and he plays chess in his spare time.
We're going to talk about that in the end part of the article. Playing chess, learning chokmot of different chokmas.
We're talking about someone who learns 3 seforim a day.
I'll quote you a Gemara. I don't need to make it up. I have a Gemara right in front of me. I even printed it for you on page 2 of these pieces of paper.
Page
It's
2?
in the middle, page 2, in the middle of this sugya in Menachos Daf Tzadik Tes Amud Beis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down. Shoal ben Doma ben Achoso Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Shmuel. There's this young fellow learning in the yeshiva, and his name was Ben Doma. And Ben Doma was a nephew of Rabbi Shmuel, the Rosh Yeshiva. And so he went to Rabbi Shmuel, and he said, well, a person like me could go Nani, right? Shalamati Kol Torah Kula. I'm a Bucky in Shas and Poskim. You think I'm a slouch? I'm a very successful yeshiva boy. I know the Torah. I don't think he's exaggerating. I think he's telling the truth. He's asking a shaila, what should I do? So he said, a guy like me that knows the whole Torah Kula, is it okay if I spend an afternoon playing chess every now and then to relax? Good shaila, right? If he didn't know all the whole Torah Kula, so he asked the question properly. He said, we're talking about a person like me who does know all the Torah. Maybe a person who doesn't, so he should learn all the Torah. But he said, a person like me, mahu lilmoid chokmas yavanis. Can I now go learn computer programming? What's wrong with that? I know the Torah. It's not like I didn't. I'm a yeshiva bacher. I learned Torah. I know all that. I'm very sharp. I know all the whole Torah Kula. I know all the Shas and Poskim. I know the Gemara. I know the Shulchan Aruch. I don't waste my time. I learn Musar every day. So what's wrong with learning a little computer? They have this special course for guys like me, opening up at nighttime to go learn computer programming. Can I learn Chachma Yavanis? What did Rabbi Shmuel answer him? He said, Kol Av Mikveh. He quoted him a pasuk. He says, well, fortunately, the Navi said a pasuk which is exactly apropos that it applies to you. Hashem said to Yeshua, Lo yamush Sefer Torah Zemi Picha. Yigisa bo mamba laila. Say, Bodeh. Just go out and if you can find a time, which is not day and not night, so then do it, Bekasha. But if it's a time which is day or night, so then Yigisa bo Yom Laila. What about the fact he knows all the Torah Kula already?
That's a funny question. Knows it not like the past. Someone who knows all the Torah Kula continues learning the Torah Kula all the time, all the day, and his spare time can he go and learn Yavanis? I think that would be a more appropriate question.
Well, that's exactly what he asked, and he told him no.
He didn't ask that. Let me understand. He did not ask that. Now I know the whole Torah Kula. Can I stop learning Torah and go learn the Yavanis?
No, he wanted to take a course at night.
Right, good. In a few hours.
And he said no. He said no. He said no. Rabbi Shmuel said no.
Okay.
That's a Gemara. Maybe we don't paskin like Rabbi Shmuel. We'll see. We'll see. Okay.